Oh, Primal Scream! You listen to Russell Brand on Six Music. I'm here with Matt Morgan. He's in charge of the buttons, even though now he's looking at them all baffled like a drunk ship's captain on that Exxon Valdez. Oh no!
I'm not drunk in the slightest.
I'm not saying you're drunk. It was a simile, like a drunken sea captain.
There's a small problem over here with Max.
Well, I'm glad you've resolved it. Also here is Trevor Cocky Locky. Are you alright, Trev?
Yes, I'm very well.
What are you so well about, Trev?
Well, you know, I'm feeling happier than I have done for about a week.
Why?
Why?
Wonder why you're feeling so happy.
I think it's a change in the weather.
I
found the Italian girls.
Found the Italian girls?
Yeah, they've
oh, that's
up.
good. Where were they?
Well, they were there all along.
In bags or somewhere in the Thames estuary, all lopped up and chopped up.
No, they've been out with boys, you know. Nothing.
It does happen.
It does
happen.
Yeah.
Any other reasons you're cheerful, Trevor Cocky?
Let's think.
Betraying your friends?
Oh yeah, I got a new computer.
Betraying your friends. Trevor's been romping around London, putting me in Max Birds.
No, I don't know what sort of epoch you live in where a man can't be friends with a woman.
That epoch. The epoch where a man can't be friends with a woman.
Also,
that's the epoch.
You've got a dirty
French
mind.
kissing.
French kissing is not an act of friendship.
In the USA?
The French are people that abhor friendship. That's why fraternity was eventually removed from that revolution.
That's how the French do it. The Italians tend to go
Trevor, you've been
one-on-one
stealing our women. A so-called decent human being snogging his way around London, some sort of tribal king, some Zulu chief. Ain't ya?
No.
Trevor, are you ashamed?
I'm not ashamed. I've nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss this over the course of the show.
You know.
Yeah, if that gentleman is Raffles the gentleman cat burglar. Mop up the floor! Make it sound like you're cleaning the bowl.
There are broken-hearted women all over the nightclubs of London after you guys have been out.
Oh, come along. Right, okay, it'll be a nice show today, right? We've got Trev's challenge. Perhaps Trev's challenge this week could be observing a code of honour among friends. We've got Matt's cultural review. Matt reviewed something cultural. We won't want to spoil the surprise by telling you what it is. He thinks that it's like some sort of whodunit, don't you?
No, classical music.
Ooh, it's really classical, this music will stand the test of time. Trev's got a sonic enigma, naturally. What else? Oh, we're talking about homes and stuff like that, aren't we? Like places we've lived in the past.
Residences.
Former residencies. For example. Matthew, what's the matter?
This sounds all bassy in my voice.
Stop worrying about it. Just get on with the bloody show. Things sound a bit bassy. Who cares?
Barry White.
Stop worrying about it. Nice to sound like Barry White. Nice to drag his jangling bones. Funny to think that there's a normal-sized skeleton dropped in him.
Does not.
What? Do people's skeletons grow?
Absolutely.
Barry White's done.
Oh, you
Barry White had a great big giant skeleton.
Of course he did. He was big boned. That was the whole problem with him.
Oh, that poor man.
He was. Michael Jackson.
I laughed at him. What? Michael Jackson wanted to buy his skeleton?
Yeah.
Mainly for the marrow.
Yeah, nice, delicious. I don't know why dogs are always on about marrow bone, like they always were.
Have you not had marrow?
I'm a vegetarian, they're always on about it, when they always got delicious marrow bone in it.
Dogs are always on
They're always on about it, delicious marrow bone.
This is the latest thing, he thinks he can communicate with the canine community.
I can communicate with the canine community.
In what way?
He kicks
Just go, you're right.
when he sees one on the street.
Give him a little nudge, put a little jacket on them, see how they are. So I'll tell you, right, if we're talking about homes and stuff like that, I'll tell you home I used to bloody well live in. Home for recovering drug addicts. Awful it was. Oh, no, treatment centre, I'll tell you about that later, lots of things happened there. But when I was like, I think I was 20 or 19 or something, I lived
Is this the living above a pub story?
No, I won't tell you that yet. That's a bloody good story. Oh, those living above pub stories. I used to live with Simone Nylander, and if you don't know who she is, she's the girl that goes, Roland, at a Grange Hill. Remember her? Roland, do that thing, Roland.
Why did you live with her?
She was going out of her.
You were going out with her?
Used to go out with
She
her.
must have been an older woman.
She grew up really dead beautiful, old Roland girl. Really beautiful.
How many years older than you was she?
Probably 2 years older. Really very attractive. She was, I think she said that her family were princes and kings or something from like Ghana.
That was a line, wasn't it?
No, but
you fell for that.
Probably was true.
I think they seem to have loads of money from somewhere, right? And then like, I went round her house and like, but in them days, remember, I weren't as cultured as I am now. I goes, come move in here. I've got nowhere else to live. She went, yeah, right. So I went and lived there, and I remember one time, what was I doing? I did something that displeased her. I think I was like cutting my toenails or picking my nose or some such natural ablution a man is likely to carry out. No food was being prepared in the area. She made me move out, properly put all my clothes in bin bags.
For that?
And threw them out the window. You know, like that, like in a sitcom, if someone gets thrown out. That happened. I was like, I stood outside watching bin bags full of clothes sailing out of a window, thinking this is like an episode of Brush Strokes. It's ridiculous. Okay, right, so, yeah, if you want to tell us some story about your life, why don't you text us on 64046, that's the text number,
perfect,
ain't it?
well done.
Or you can email us, I'm not going to even attempt to say that email address, but we've got a lot of dots in it and my name and the word BBC somewhere along the line. It's up to you, really, just join in. Later on, we're going to have Trevor's Sonic Enigma, Well, it's enigmatic, isn't it, your sonar experiment?
Literally, yeah.
It's literally enigmatic. What an odd thing to literally be. Can we ever literally be enigmatic? Also, I don't know, let's try and, let's us lot really get together and bond after Trevor's driven a wedge between us.
I ain't driven no wedge
With
between
his
anyone.
vile
That's the whole-
phallus.
You've got
Chasing his dinkle round London.
bloody nonsense.
There's
Like
lots
a
of
Randy St Bernard.
there's lots of women in the city.
Unbelievable.
So why do you have to go for?
I
Yeah.
don't know, where'd you get this from?
Yeah.
I live a lonely,
Do one of them
frugal,
bams on him.
aesthetic life.
Bam him!
No, hang on. I want to hear what he's saying. A lonely aesthetic life.
No,
What's
I'm
aesthetic about your life? Look at
No,
the shirt you're
it's
wearing.
Asthmatic.
That
asthmatic.
shirt you're wearing, if I saw that lying in a dog's bed, I'd have the dog put to sleep. Right, this is an email here from Brandy. Brandy goes, Russell, Matt and Trevor. When I was a kid, my family moved down south in the US, where it's hot most of the time. The bugs down there were huge. The mosquitoes were so big, I thought they were flying daddy long legs. How horrifying as a kid to think you've just moved to a place where they have flying spiders. I didn't want to go outside. I love your radio show. Tour America, please. That's from Brandy. Brandy, we will tour America. But first, to conquer the United Kingdom. Hello, says Ruth. Oh no. Hello, says Ruth. My mate Barry. I can't, who knows what Ruth's like?
It's probably not like that, I
Well,
imagine.
I think I've captured the essence of Ruth, and let's think of this as a German expressionistic email that I'm reading out. As long as you get the idea of Ruth, you're alright.
When I used to do that, I used to get ribbed for it.
did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you get ribbed?
I got ribbed. I got ribbed for it.
I got ribbed. Someone ribbed me. I was standing outside the garden, someone touched me on the rib. My mate Barry, what, Trev? What is it now?
I did it.
Has it been 10 minutes since you've had it off with one of our girlfriends? You're getting bored? My mate Barry, says Ruth, lived in Ockenden near the wreck at the same time as Russell claims to have been a postman. Why would I claim to have been a postman? Same time Russell claims to have been a postman.
You weren't a very good postman. Maybe it means that.
Oh, right, so it's like
Yeah.
really regard the ethos of the postal worker.
Postman stroke thief.
Yeah, I was a gentleman postman. My ideology was out. So I was a maverick, but by God, I got the job done. By the end of the
You
morning,
didn't get the job
that
done, though.
sack was empty.
It was empty.
People hadn't really got many letters. There's a lot of disappointment being
I think
distributed
the
around
main
Ockenden.
purpose of that job is to empty a sack. They should just be called sack
please.
emptiers, really.
Sack emptiers. Just tip it in a ditch. Right, these sacks need emptying, boys. Tip it in a ditch. So anyway, my mate Barry lived in Ockenden near the wreck, same time Russell claims to have been a postman in the area. In fact, it would have been the exact same time that Barry's Morrissey tickets didn't turn up in the post. So as well as being a scab, you robbed Barry of his happiness. Shame on you.
Did you?
I didn't nickname Morrissey
That would
tickets.
be an amazing coincidence if that really was.
It would be great, wouldn't it? But actually, I didn't nickname Morrissey tickets.
You don't know that. I bet you just threw them in the bin. You probably just felt them up. And
Did you
thought,
always
this,
like Morrissey?
Yeah.
I did like Morrissey. I would have had I come across Morrissey tickets. I would have stolen. If I'd have known Barry's Morrissey tickets were in that sack, I'd have had them.
Did you
Without
open
a
every
moment's
single
embarrassment.
letter? I bet you didn't.
No,
I bet you
didn't.
felt them up and just put the boring ones in the
I'd
bin.
just sit on a park bench, just like opening letters, eating my sandwiches, wearing brogues that were too tight, skidding about in the ice. It was a
Brogues?
ridiculous time. Well, I didn't have many shoes. I just thought I'd wear these brogues.
But why were they
nice.
too tight?
Because they were bound up, like them Japanese women. How they swaddle their feet in the
Oh,
olden
I
days.
see. Yeah, that was
I
the
just
look
was
back
into
then, was it?
I
Yeah.
was into that. I just thought I'm going to inhibit the growth of these little buggers, one way or another. This is one battle I'm not prepared to lose. So, traveller, have you lived in some interesting places?
Oh, I have.
To you, only I may sing.
Okay.
Where have you lived, darling?
I lived in Floor.
You lived in the floor?
No, in floor.
Come on, Trev, be honest. You lived in a cellar because it suited your lifestyle of daytime self-abuse.
I used to be a little mouse. I lived in a hole behind the skirting board.
Behind the skirt.
Okay.
Come on, then.
Trev.
Tell us about this place, Floor, you lived in.
Well, I lived in Floor, yeah, which is a village.
Yeah,
and
lived in Floor, yeah, Guy.
Yeah.
You hearing me, Guy? Yeah, I lived in Floor.
I lived there. And one of my earliest memories is of when the plumber fell through the ceiling.
Why do things always fall through the ceiling in your life, Trevor, when it's not this boot plunging through a skylight? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I'm chicken licking.
I'll tell you what, Trevor, if it were chicken you'd been licking, there wouldn't be such antipathy in this studio. So go on, what, go on. Don't lick your fingers,
that's an
finger licking good.
insult.
He just made the KFC, other chickens are available, finger licking good sign just then.
Well,
you dirty little devil. I don't
dirty
think
little
his special secret recipe is what you've been supping on, you filthy little article.
Well, you silly boy, you're spoiling the tone of your show.
How am I not spoiling the tone of our lives, rampaging around like Warren Beatty? Come on then, Trev, tell us this thing.
You lived in a floor.
I lived in a village. I lived in a bungalow, which is, you know, and well, one day the plumber came round. He had to go up into the roof.
Of course he did. Where else are you going to put the plumber?
And
Don't have him mucking around
he
in
was
the
doing
bathroom,
stuff
wasting
in there.
his life.
I was only little. I was about 3, and then all of a sudden there was a commotion, and then you know these legs came through the ceiling.
Trevor, I don't believe you. I don't believe that all these stories have got legs coming through the ceiling.
He was wearing shoes, and he just came through.
He was wearing shoes. Oh, that corroborates it. Oh, shoes, you say? No one could possibly have sufficient imagination to imagine that on the end of a plumber's leg there would be a shoe. It simply must be truth. It simply must be gospel.
I remember. He came through it, and Sammy the cat was having some
Sammy
food.
the cat, did he have a voice? Because Trevor, of course, used to give all of his childhood pets
his whole
voices,
family
didn't he?
did.
Whole family, they all conspired to give them voices. How did Sammy the cat talk?
To be honest, it wasn't until 1985 and the arrival of Bessie that we started giving pets.
Bessie was the inaugural dog voice pet, was she?
Yeah, because Sammy was a cat. We didn't give cats voices.
How do you think she would have spoke though, Trevor, if she did have a voice?
She probably would have spoken like this.
Why?
Because
She'd been abused.
Trevor, no one goes, it wasn't until 1985 when Bessie arrived.
I just went like that.
Who remembers
I
the
went like
year
that.
that
Speaks like that about
family
their
pets
pets.
arrived?
I do.
And how did Bessie arrive?
Well, she arrived in a...
Bessie's debut album was a great breakthrough. We were all disappointed with her follow-up. Can't have some ding-dings! We thought it was lazy and derivative.
She was lovely. She nibbled a hole in my trousers. That's why we chose her.
Bessie?
Yeah.
Look at the
not
meandering
the
story.
plumber.
Meandered off.
At the moment, there's a plumber's legs hanging out.
Dangling
of the
through
roof.
Someone's
There's a cat eating some
talking
dinner.
cat, a dog that arrived in 1985. What's wrong with you?
Nothing is wrong with me. Only in
that's the
your
story
mind are
of the
these
soul.
absurd.
Only in your mind. Trevor, people are listening to this text.
plumber-
I think there's anything wrong with that lad.
the plumber-
64446.
Fell through the ceiling of the kitchen, landed
It's
on
a
Sammy.
bungalow. What's he even doing in the roof? It goes against
That's where
everything
the-
bungalows stand
That's
for.
what the bungalows have roofs, don't they? And that's where the boiler was or something. And anyway, he fell through.
Boiler on the roof.
I don't know, something that people plumb, and he came through. It made a big commotion,
Yeah.
and then I can remember running into the kitchen and saying, "Mummy, what had happened?" Something like that. And then when you were
Mummy, what had happened? Mummy, what had happened?
something like
Why are you
that.
referring
There was a
things
bit of
to
a
the
time
past?
slip in
Well,
the lock.
what happened?
Well, I was young.
Why are we
I hadn't
talking
learned
about
about,
it?
the past tense of language yet.
No.
You were 3.
Although now you
you're
live in the
running and
past
asking
tense.
people
I
what's
wasn't
going on.
ru-
In the past tense.
could run
What
when I
kind of
was
3-year-old were you?
Mummy, what will happen just then?
Mummy, what was that? Yesterday stinks like bacon, Mum, and tomatoes all over my finger.
He wasn't anywhere to be seen. I said, "Where's that plumber?"
I like
Because we didn't get many men in the house, so it was
I'm not
interesting
surprised
for
I'm probably
me.
driven away by you, sprinting around asking baffling, perplexing, enigmatic questions.
We didn't get
that
many
denied
men
existence
in the
at
house.
times.
We didn't have visitors. It was
What men in the house for, Trev? What was it, a bordello? What exactly was going on in that place?
We didn't have visitors. It was a
The
you know.
Lock family rub down. Get yourself soaked and finished off. Dangle through the ceiling, have your little legs wiggling through the ceiling, while Trev and his family scurry around like feeding gerbils round a water bottle.
You'll turn on you'll turn on a sixpence to bring anything round to sex you. An innocent conversation in a pub.
An innocent lift home for a girl.
An innocent exploitation of a resource man. You and I worked very hard to build up.
Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, I said to her, "Where is he?" And she said, "He fell through the ceiling. He's disappeared. I think he's embarrassed."
He's embarrassed. embarrassed?
Because I think she
An
said...
embarrassed plumber?
Because apparently, she... No, this is what she told me.
So
she
he
said,
just ran off all covered in
Oh,
plaster.
listen.
And hid behind a bush.
Well, I'll never live this down.
this is why
That 3-year-old child and a talking cat saw this. I'm off.
I better explain this to him yesterday.
The cat didn't talk then. Listen, this is why it's stuck in my memory, because she told me, I think he's gone off to have a jolly good swear somewhere.
A jolly good swear.
Yeah.
What did you think that meant?
I just pictured him going behind a bush and saying all these swear words.
You pictured that, did you, in your
Yes,
little
I did.
3-year-old mind?
Yeah, and then he came back and he plastered it up.
He plastered it right
He
up.
was a plumber.
Yeah, I know.
Not
What was he
plaster.
doing
That
plastering
must have been
for?
quite bad.
I got called a scab for doing less than that. What was he doing? Stepping on plaster?